The final one is, I wrote a whole book on this, is less is more. If you have something to tell, if you have to tell something, customer something important, and it takes you 15 minutes to tell them the story, you're over. People listen in sound bites. So often it's better to say, look, I'm going to try to make 3 points in this meeting. A, B, C. And if you can't get that 3 points in a sentence each, you're already in trouble. If you have to say, first we're going to do this, and then I think you have to do this, and by the time you're on point five, even if the person's looking at you, their brain has switched channels.
Yeah, it kind
Yeah.
of
So getting simple is hard, but keep it simple because great execution happens when you understand. FedEx can deliver packages because every employee knows I need to deliver absolute certainty. That means, I don't know. That means if I have to swim across a lake to get the package, that's what they want. I don't have to read the instruction book to say what happens if I drop the box in the lake. I know I have to go get it and swim across.
Yeah, that's so powerful, and that's like this William Shakespeare quote is like, "If I had more time, I would have wrote a shorter letter." Where you actually work harder and harder, harder, actually lets you be more specific.
Homework matters. So don't
Mm.
ever do a meeting where you haven't rehearsed it, even if you have to talk into your phone and do a dry run. Because the more when you're going for a job interview or going to sell a product or service, the more you practice it, you don't want to make your most important meeting something you wing as you're driving into the office or into work.
Absolutely. So you might have already right. Yeah. So you might have touched on this, but what would you consider to be what I call a CEO nugget? So it's a little bit more word of wisdom or piece of advice. And I usually say it might be something if you were to hop into a time machine, you might tell your younger business self.
It's don't be afraid to be wrong. If you're too nervous to say, well, I can't say this because it's too crazy an idea, or people may think, I'm not really, but, successful business always involves risk. And you have to be, if you're playing it safe the whole time, well, maybe I'll do this and maybe they will like this or she'll like, you have to, what's the worst? You're wrong. And you have to be comfortable being wrong. Because if you don't have a clear point of view, then it's hard to be a great leader if you don't have people will say, you're wrong, Alan, but I'll say, I think we need to do A, B, and C, and here's why. What do you guys think? As opposed to, well, I was thinking about A, but B could be a good idea too, and maybe C is all right, but let's talk about it. And, you'll get people saying, well, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, especially, we talked a little bit about leadership earlier. I feel like that attracts people as far as like leadership and somebody saying that, hey, we're going to do, A. And, if you get to, the road and you realize that A maybe isn't right, you pivot, but you make a strong pivot. You don't say, well, I think we should do this. We should probably keep going. I think that also is a really strong leadership trait as well, too.
Right. And yeah, just be comfortable. If you always want to have people, and the other thing is have people around you that are comfortable saying, disagreeing with you. Never surround yourself with a bunch of people that say, Gresh, you're great. Yeah, let's do that. Let's run off the lake. I know it's 12 degrees outside, but let's go do it. Yeah, because I want to be a real team player. You need people around you say, well, thank you for sharing that idea, but here's why I don't think it's right. They don't have to call you bad names, but they have to be comfortable saying, I disagree with that. And let me tell you why. Because diversity of thinking gets ideas better. And if everyone says, oh, yeah, that's the right way to go, many, many things in life go wrong. If you have everyone coming from the same background, drinking the same Kool-Aid, saying the same thing,